You know, when you think about the Cold War, you often think of this long, drawn-out chess match. But some moves are just so sudden, so shocking, they don't just change the game, they threaten to flip the entire board over. And today, we're talking about one of those moves, the 1979 Soviet invasion of Afghanistan.
See, for a good chunk of the 70s, things had actually cooled down a bit. There was this period called détente, a kind of fragile peace where everyone was talking more than they were fighting. But at the very end of 1979, that peace just went up in smoke and things got very, very hot.
So what happened? What was the spark that lit the fuse? How did we go from this cautious calm to the edge of a major conflict almost overnight? Well, it wasn't some long, complicated series of events. It all came down to one single, decisive military action.
On Christmas Eve of 1979, of all days, Soviet tanks rolled into Afghanistan. Now, if you asked Moscow, they'd say they were just trying to help out a friendly communist government next door that was in total chaos. But to the rest of the world, it looked like a superpower was just tearing up the rulebook.
And you can bet the world was watching. Everyone was just stunned, holding their breath to see what would happen next. This wasn't just some regional conflict. It was a challenge. And the first, and maybe the most important response came straight from the White House.
All right, so with Soviet tanks on the move, all eyes turned to the U.S. president. What he said next wasn't just going to be a speech. It was going to set the tone for how the entire Western world would handle this crisis.
And that response came fast. President Jimmy Carter's whole approach had been about diplomacy and human rights, not picking Cold War fights. But this move by the Soviets, it just forced his hand. He was facing a massive challenge, and his answer was going to be heard loud and clear across the globe.
This action threatens the peace of the world. Just let those words sink in for a second. He's not just saying, hey, we don't like this. He is elevating this to a threat against global peace. He was basically telling the Soviet Union the consequences for this are going to be felt way beyond Afghanistan.
And when you say something threatens world peace, you have to back it up with more than just words, right? Carter's warning was the starting pistol, and the Western military alliance immediately started getting ready for a real, tangible response. And this is where the whole alliance system just clicked right into gear. NATO forces all over Europe went on high alert. We're talking military leave getting canceled, warships being moved into position. The message to Moscow was crystal clear. The West is united, and it's ready. So now you can really see the ripple effect, right? You can draw a straight line from that initial invasion to a massive international crisis. It's a perfect example of cause and effect playing out on the world stage.
I mean, it's just like watching dominoes fall. Step 1, the Soviets move in. Boom! That knocks over the next domino, Carter's stark warning to the world. And that warning, in turn, gets an entire military alliance to mobilize. Each step is a direct result of the one before it, and it all happened incredibly fast.
So if there's one thing you take away from this, it's this. The invasion of Afghanistan wasn't just a war. It was the match that relit the entire Cold War. It showed just how connected everything had become. How one move in a country far away could literally put the whole world on a war footing overnight.
Which leaves us with this huge question, the same one that came from Carter's warning. We've just seen exactly how it happened back then. But it really makes you think, in our world today, which is more connected than ever, just how fragile is that global peace, and what single action, tomorrow, could threaten it all?